Hello again and welcome back to my Arty Hearty vlog. I am continuing to work on my latest project, which is a painting of this gorgeous llama called Gertie. And in the last vlog you saw me get to this point in the acrylic painting. That is, I've done the underpainting, I've worked out rough shapes and very rough general sort of hues. But given that I don't really want, I'm not really planning on doing a realistic portrait of Gertie, I've decided that I'm not convinced that there is much point in my continuing to work on this piece for the moment. But I think I will set it aside and start to look at some brighter coloured versions, having got a feel for the shapes and the values and textures, and thought back some more to the Highland cow painting that I did. And I'm thinking more and more that this should definitely be a companion piece to that, and so I want to go in the more colourful direction, having worked out some of the basics of it. So I'm going to set this aside and start to explore colour, and to do that I'm going to use watercolour. So let's pop this one aside and break out the watercolours. I found, I don't know what made me do it to start with, but I found it to be quite a successful step, quite a useful step for me when I was painting, when I was starting to paint this piece for my lovely friend Carly. This lovely Kiwi, which actually I've been at a bit of a standstill on this one for far too long. Sorry, Carly, but I will come back to it soon. But one of the things that I did, and I'm not sure where they are at the moment, is a couple of little watercolours, just to get a little bit of an idea of some shapes and colours, and to get a feel for what I was going to do when it came to acrylics. I know that doesn't necessarily sound like it makes a lot of sense, but I feel like it was a valuable step that helped me, so I'm going to give it a go with Gertie. So let's set the Kiwi aside for the moment and break out the watercolours. Not quite sure how this set's supposed to open. This is the clasp is clearly there, but there isn't really any indication. I think I just pull it. Okay, that'll do. And this comes off really easily, and it's meant to, so that you can use it as a palette that is not attached, which is useful. So let's bring this down here a little bit. Let's pop that there and that there. I think that'll probably just about work. Now I've got my water jars. Oops, that one is still dirty from acrylic painting, so I'm just going to go and change that water. I'll be back in a moment. Here we are, I'm back with a clean jar of water. I think my other jars are still clean. I think I only used that one in the last session. Right, I have 3 jars of water on the go when I'm acrylic painting, because you quite often find that you have 2 completely opposing areas of colour going on. So I tend to wash, I might be washing my blacks and browns in one jar, and or I might be washing blacks and blues in one jar and reds and browns in another or something. And I always keep a small jar of clean water just for dipping the brush in. And sometimes it gets to the point where that becomes a second rinse jar, if I'm too lazy to get up and go and change all my water jars. While we're talking about water, let me show you something. One of my little artist hacks is, that is a little baby's bottle. It's the small size and there's no teat on it, but these come with this rubber thing that replaces the teat so that you can have a sealed bottle that isn't going to leak. And I find that with this is perfect for on-the-go painting. It's plastic, so I've not got to worry about broken glass. It holds a reasonable amount of water, and this is a second cup. So what I do is I'll pour some into there, and I'll use this as my dirty water, as my rinsing water, and this as my clean dipping water. Because when I'm done, I can throw this one away, give it a little rinse out, and then close it all up again and move on. And then I can paint again because I've still got some water in there that's still clean. Anyway, I don't actually do that much out and about painting, but when I realised a way to repurpose that bottle, I thought, oh, I must do some soon, one day. If I ever do, I'll let you know. Right, so how are we going to go about painting Gertie in some nice bright colours? Let's see. I think I need to start by doing a little bit of a sketch of her. I'm just going to use half this sheet. This is that watercolour paper that I used for the acrylic practice piece, which I've actually decided is rubbish for acrylics, and I'm not going to do that anymore. I felt like the colour experimentation wasn't as successful as I'd hoped it would be, so I thought for my next step, another thing that I needed, or that I will need, is a more simplified drawing of the llama. Basically, so that once we come to do this in a workshop, well, for a couple of reasons, so that we've got something simple to work from once we come to try and reproduce it in a workshop, but also for the painting I'm working on at the moment. so that I can have something without all the other details in it, in order to just start to apply some colour to it. So I used Krita, which is a great app. It's like Photoshop in the drawing, in the painting, the digital painting aspect, and it's recently become available on Android, whereas it had only been on PC, and probably Mac as well. I don't know. I'm not into Apple, so I don't really know what's available for Mac. But anyway, I basically I used the layers facility within Krita to trace the outlines, and then having done that, I then retraced to make some tweaks to get a final simplified drawing that I felt would suit the next steps of this process. And so that's where we are now. That's what I've just done, and there is the line drawing of Gertie produced in Krita.